Good morning, YouTube. It's time for a garden tour. So today is July 16th, 2020. And if you're looking at this in a year that's not 2020, oh my gosh, you survived. Because let me tell you, it started off rough. But besides all that, I've been working from home like a lot of people who have these, orders because of the COVID-19. Which gave me a lot of time to just be in my garden every day. So I'm just going to start with a tour. This is coming out of my front door. We are going to start with these peppers along the window. So we've got some gorgeous peppers here. These ones are called peach something something. So what's going to happen is they've got to turn like a peach color before they're ready for harvest. And I've taken off like there's one. Oh, yay, there's one. Okay, so we're getting there. I've taken off like all the first ones just because I was impatient and I gave them away, but I see one there that's turning peach. This is a Trinidad, I think it's a Trinidad Scorpion. And there they are there. So I've got 2, 3, maybe more. But these are like extremely hot peppers. And then when I first got these grow bags, there were just little small peppers in there. So I thought it would be a great idea to throw a tomato in there. Just, one. And well, yeah, there they are. So they're in there with them. Just one. This is a Jimmy Nathaniel. I think everybody's kind of familiar with them. They turn red after a while. A mild flavor, really good and productive. Okay. Then we got some Scarlet Runner beans. I did this little contraption just because I guess I was bored. I just thought, oh, it looked pretty if this was like some sort of a centerpiece because those flowers I get really red. I didn't have that many Scarlet Runner beans. I think maybe 5. And so of this certain breed. So that's why they're here, because I'll need to seed save. I also threw a zucchini right here because I wasn't sure of this area along the side of my house. I tried planting stuff here before, just flowers. I thought, oh, that'd be pretty, and nothing ever happened. So I honestly thought it was barren. So I threw these zucchinis in here, and of course the grow bags are just sitting in, their own grow bag, and then the wood chips.
Can I have your leather bag, the brown one? Where is it?
Maybe under the bed. So yeah, the wood chips insulate the grow bag, so that kind of keeps their moisture. Behind here's 3 more grow bags of peppers. These are all like crazy hot peppers. And back here are a red dry bean from Baton Rouge. It's the Camille brand. So I'm on the 2nd season of growing those. So, all right. So this is this pepper. Very, very prolific. And this is the name of this one. I've never had it. This was given to me by a friend. Santica. So if you want to do the research on that, but they're these little peppers. This one right here is the Carolina Reaper. And I see one right here. I don't know if there's more in there. They're so delicate. And over there is my ghost pepper, this one here. But I see a ton of flowers, and I've yet to see a pepper. I looked the other day, so maybe they'll just all pop at once because as you can see, the flowers are there. Okay, so this morning I did start off with some harvesting. I was going to pickle some beets. And I came across that squash and this little cooker squash. So I thought, okay, let's start picking stuff off. Alrighty, so here is what I like to consider like a centerpiece, because as soon as you walk out of my front door, this is what you see. And I'm not really sure what used to be here prior to me buying it, because it's this permanent pavement here that's rounded. And so what I did was just put a total of 8 grow bags along the edge, and then in the center I've had a multitude of things. One year it was sweet potatoes. Another year was just a whole bunch of little grow bags. So it went from sweet potatoes to garlic. And then now what I have in here are the same red beans that are dry red beans right here that I have over there. So I've got the dry red beans, the okra, and watermelon here. And then these are all volunteer tomatillos. I don't know if you can see them, but they're just like there. And then also within here are, I think it's just 5 eggplants. So, yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then along back here are squash. So I've got a plethora of things growing just in the center. So I did practice the 3 sisters here. So it's the beans, the okra, and then the watermelon. Okay, each grow bag has something different. Now I know people are just like, oh, 2 or 3 things in a grow bag. Not me. And then of a certain type and a certain anything. I just don't. I don't follow rules of anything that's in some type of literature. So it's just not going to happen. What I have in here is tomatoes, cucumbers, okra. This is another little cherry tomato. I don't know if you can see that there. Some maybe collards or kale. Can't say for sure. I've got some beets, a pepper, another pepper. Might be just an eggplant that's just kind of hanging around. This one also has random items in it. For sure 2 tomatoes, some onions, tomato, let's see, maybe greens. Yeah, that's not too full. I'm gonna get some more stuff in there. This one here, and then within or in between the grow bags, I've got stuff growing. So like I said, today's July. I live in Sacramento, California. July 16th, 2020. And I've still got collards growing like crazy. But that's just, I mean, this is an old one, as you can see, but they're still really prolific. Okay, and this one here, I think this was a broccoli. I took the head off, just a little tiny broccoli. I believe this is like a cherry tomato here. Yeah, cherry tomato. And then another variety of tomato in there. There's a pepper in here as well. Here's the pepper. Here's this kind of kale. I think it's a rainbow kale. Real pretty. Those are good. And then again, in between, we've got more brassica. The brassica family. It's collards, but still. This particular grow bag has like a ton of brassicas. Let me get down here. And then a squash. And I think a pepper as well, but this one's been like this forever, so I like that. Okay, what's here? Let's see. We've got a cucumber, a pepper, and a tomato. Here's the cucumber here. And then even within here, I've got a pepper. This pepper is like a purple one. So I'm excited to see what kind of pepper is going to come from that. If it's a bell or a sweet, I just don't remember what kind it is. Here's the beets that I mentioned I was harvesting. I just got a few out of there. I'm going to pickle those. Those squash. Did you find it?
No.
You want me to get it?
No, I'm busy.
And then here's the zucchini. The zucchini. This one here has, like, I don't even know where this corn came from, but there's a corn there. I don't know if it's a popcorn corn or just like eating corn. It's almost ready, I think. So we'll let that be. Oh, and then this guy right here is a faux. Can you see it? So sometimes I'll have those. This gets killed. Okay, so this one has peppers. It has a pepper, I should say, a tomato, a corn, some kale. This one here has a squash, a pepper, some basil, an eggplant, a cucumber, and 2 tomatoes. And then we've got Gabby here. She's my daughter's lavender, so that's kind of pretty. Okay, so that's that for that. Now let me go back here and show you what I've got along here. So those are more beans, just a different time that I planted these. This is a key lime tree that I put in this grow bag. I still have yet to have any come on here. I've seen like one flower the other day right there. And then I'll keep lettuce in that one, but right now it's hot because it's summer. Keep your tracker on so I can see where you are or your location. Okay. So this thing right here is my chicken coop. So it's just a pop-up tent. And then that white thing right there is just what you get at Home Depot. It's a fence, but I just put it all around so that it's like, so you're not looking into the coop. But I'll get closer to that in a minute. So here's some mint, and as you know, mint is very invasive. So I keep them in these planters. Okay, so back here I have sweet potatoes. So sweet potatoes is like in this patch right here. This growing up the chicken coop is the chayote. And then I threw some corn seeds, like a bunch of corn seeds, but as far as I can see now, I only have about 4. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. This little tree right here, I planted in the earth, and it is called an Australian finger lime. So I don't have any on here right now. I guess it's just not time. I don't really know much about trees, but I do like that particular lime. Okay, so what I have over here is spaghetti squash growing like, so we've got the chayote, we've got the corn and the sweet potatoes. And then I had a volunteer spaghetti squash, and it took a while for me to realize what it was because it was just growing and growing and growing, and all these vegetables were on it, and I was just like, what is this? So I found out it was a spaghetti squash because one, you know how like it won't survive until it's little. I cracked it open, it was like that, but it had already died or didn't quite pollinate all the way, and then when I cracked it open I could tell it was a spaghetti squash. So I was super excited about that because I love spaghetti squash. But the root is actually in the coop, like that's where it came from, and then it just kind of came out of here at a young age, and then now this is it. And then I've got the beautiful sunflowers, like volunteers, and then I also got more tomatillos. Like, I don't know if you could tell, but they're all in here. I kind of trellis that one. I don't mind because I absolutely love tomatillos, but like they say, once you plant it once, you'll have it forever. Okay, so there's a nice spaghetti squash. I'll probably do a lot of harvesting today. Hi, John Matthew. And then over here, okay, so there's the chicken coop. So that's what it looks like. So we've got this kind of stuff. You need butter? Okay. Is Maya in there or she left already?
Yes, she left.
Okay. So I'm doing a tour of the garden. So if you want to hold this right here, and I'll go get you a butter. So you just stand and hold it right there. You could tell them what that is in that area. Here, hold the camera, it's recording. Okay. So you can let them know that's all potatoes right there.
Potatoes. chicken.
Thank you. Did you tell them what everything is? I'm gonna put it on YouTube. Okay, here you go. Tell your mom to have that whole thing because I got 3 more.
I just got muffin on film.
You did? Okay. Thank you, John Matthew. Have a good day. You shut my front door? Shut the front door, okay? So sorry for that interruption. You could speed right through. That is John Matthew. He lives 2 doors down. Okay. So where was I? Okay, the chicken coop. So the chicken coop, it's like spacious. Like there's only 2 chickens in here, or hens. I did have 3, but this is like how they live. So their coop is back there. They've got all these little things to sit on or whatever. And there's that better, yeah. There she is. That's raspberry and blackberry. And this right here keeps them from just jumping out, because let me tell you, they want to get out and forage through the garden. But they're great girls. Okay, so there's that. Okay, this side is potatoes. So I planted only potatoes here. And I have more than just potatoes growing here. I've got another squash. I do believe it is a spaghetti squash. I'm trying to find one. Oh, there's one here. So I believe this is also a spaghetti squash. Okay, there's one back there. And just mainly, it's just potatoes here. Oh, and I threw a tomato there. Late season. I've seen it at the store. It's looking all sad and abandoned. So I thought, okay, you can come home with me. And then in here is my bucket of seaweed. So I go to the ocean and I'll just harvest like this full bucket, right? And then I will stir it real quick. And I will put it in here, put it in a bucket, and then I just steep it. So this is like the tail end of it. Oh yeah, this is like the tail end. So I'll stir it around and then pour it just all through the garden. There we go. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So anyway, I just pour it through the garden, and then when it's so diluted, I'll just go out and get some more seaweed, fill that little bucket up, come back. Okay, so I have another half of the yard that is a garden as well, but just the traditional kind that I plant into the earth. No, not too many grow bags. And I'm going to start from this angle over here because I think it just looks better. Like you can see my train of thought on how I planted everything. So this is a trumpet, caliente trumpet vining flower, and so it's huge. It's old, I believe. It's my neighbor's. It's, you know, on his side of the fence, but it's huge, and it's a great pollinator for my garden. So I always ask, like, don't trim it, you know, don't cut it out. It doesn't matter. Even if they did cut their half, I've got them. It's on my side, like it's here. So I do have to come along and cut like right here because it's so invasive. Like, look how long they hang. So I'll come and just do a nice little trim, you know. Okay, so let's start. I just adore these bamboo trellises. I got them from Big Lots. Oh, excuse me, not Big Lots. Grocery Outlet. Like, it's a discount store that sells like all kind of stuff. But the only place I've ever found them was there. And they are only $9.99. Like, and they're old. Like, these are old. Like, I collect them and they're just old. Like, but they're still sturdy. And even when they break down, like start breaking down, then I'll individually keep this piece. Like, I'll keep that little one and I'll keep that long one. You know, I'll just take it apart, and now they're just individual trellises for me. All right, so without further ado, let me show you guys this one. So underneath here, I do have potatoes growing. So this is where I have some potatoes growing. There's a little kale that got behind there. You can see there's a cucumber. So there's a cucumber here, pepper here, and everything is just, that pepper is, that is really hanging long. I'm not sure what kind of pepper that is. This is a, could be a collard. It's old, it's still surviving, so that's why it's there. A tomato here. This is about 6 cauliflower. Because of how the bees hang and then whatever sap is coming down from there, I'm just not comfortable eating that cauliflower. And then it's July, so it's probably going to taste weird. I'm going to go ahead and cut those down and feed it to the chickens. Here's a lemon cucumber. Oh, can you see? Am I pointing at that? Yeah, lemon cucumber there. A little pepper here. Another tomato. I mean, I've got so much stuff everywhere. Like, please, I won't be offended if you fast forward, like, because this stuff is crazy. There's a random broccoli. This died. It was some kind of a squash. Maybe the squash vine board got a hold of it. Oh yeah, look at that. It's just disintegrated. Ugh. Yeah, I can't say who would have eaten that, but it got all of it. How many was it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And this came from a store. My neighbor, John Matthews' mom, gave it to me. And okay, so let me back up some and show you all. Oh, the Jerusalem artichoke, Mr. Invasive. I'm gonna call him a Mr. because oh my gosh, they just grow everywhere. Jerusalem artichoke, and look how tall it is. So it's a tuber that grows underneath the earth. And so I'm gonna keep this one. It had took up all of this area. Like when I walk through, I'll probably be pulling up some baby ones just because they're just gonna pop up. So anyway, at the very top of this, there'll be little sunflower looking flowers. So once that happens, the flowers have to die, okay? And then about 18 inches to 2 feet from the bottom, when those leaves die, because it dies from the bottom up, then you'll cut it off. You let it sit in the earth for about until that stalk is like totally dried out. And then you harvest your Jerusalem artichoke. Now don't get me wrong, the Jerusalem artichokes are absolutely delicious, but the plant is extremely invasive. So just be aware of that whenever you go to plant them. And once you have them, you'll never not have them again. They're kind of like the tomatillo. So what I have here on this first trellis is Roma tomatoes, cucumbers, some random brassicas that are just there. Cucumbers are looking good. Some more Roma tomatoes. I did a lot of Roma tomatoes this year because I want to can my own sauce. I mean, it won't be a lot, but still. And here's some more of the beans, the red dry beans that I'm making. There's some sage. This is thyme, a cucumber. Oh, and here's this little grow bag. So this grow bag has basil, carrots, a tomato, and then a cucumber. Just one little cucumber that's doing its thing in front, or just regular green beans. Okay, so there's the thyme. This right here is an asparagus. So asparagus was planted here about 3 years ago, and so it keeps popping back up. I'll get random little asparaguses, and either I'll find them and eat them, or they just go to flower like that one there. So we've got a tomato, another cucumber. I love cucumbers. A volunteer tomatillo. Get her up here. And we got some more basil, an eggplant. Looks like it's trying to do something there. Another tomato, tomato. Some sort of basil. I forgot which one this one was, but that's a basil. There's a tomatillo sprawling all over the place. That's what it does. I've got oregano, another little sage, tomato, some more tomatoes. These are volunteer Asian long beans. So there's that, another tomato. I think there's a cucumber in here as well. Yeah, I don't know if you could see that one. Is there any cucumbers in there? I can't tell. Okay, so let me show you this guy here. So this right here is my ginger. Now, if you've been following me, or if you see my back videos, you'll see that I just don't know what to do with it. Like now it's turned to flower. And then this huge thing right there that's growing is a raspberry. So I'll go in there and cut that off because they're just so invasive. But I don't know what to do with this ginger. Like, I just don't know what to do. I don't even like talking about it because I'm just so disappointed in the fact that I haven't been able to uproot it and carry on, you know. And I take pieces of it from the corner, but it's just so in there, like I don't even know what to do. And what also is in there is my Okinawa spinach. So it's with the purple on the back side. Really good. So you just cook it down, put it in anything. This, like, I'd cut this right here and just tear it up, saute it with something. Okay, here's some more trellises. It has a cucumber, another tomato there. Yeah. Okay, and then this trellis, all cucumbers on this side, peppers on this side that are just like, I don't know what happened with these peppers. Oh, I know what happened. My chickens got a hold of them. So I planted them, and then I let my chickens, like when they were early, they were just down here, and it got awful. Like, oh, so irritated. So they uplifted them, stunted their growth, and now they're just there like, I don't know what to do. So we've got tomatoes here. I don't know what that is. Another tomato, little baby tomato there. I just don't know what that is. Cucumber here, and a tomato hiding in there. Celery here. Some more peppers along here. And this little guy right here is a part of that trumpet. That right there. That's those little guys. They just grow anywhere and everywhere. There's a cucumber. Oh, look at that tiny baby cucumber. And then we've got cucumber, tomatoes over here. Some more tomatoes. That little flower was a radish. Some more tomatoes. Yeah. I thought I had like a watermelon, but I guess not. Maybe it didn't make it. I thought I had one over here. Nope, I guess this is a cucumber for sure. And another tomato back there. This is my lone blueberry. I don't know what to do with it. I guess it's just not gonna happen for me. But this is it. I don't know. I don't even know if it's alive. Like it could just be there. Yeah, there's a cucumber there. Got another tomato there. Okay, so this grow bag has peppers in it that are not volunteer. Perennial. They just came back. Like I didn't ever cut it down, and she came back. So there's full. That one too, and then that one. There's a tomato within. There's a tomato here, and this pepper I believe I did put in here. Yeah, this pepper I did, and then there's an eggplant, another tomato. Okay. Over here we've got black eyed peas. So this row, something's in here, and then this row right here is black eyed peas. This right here, same thing, the chickens got in here and went nuts, and I was just like, all right, you can have it. I'm just over it. And that's why I had to like really lock them down over there, because they get in here and they just kick up everything, and just like, come on. This is my little corn that's probably not going to be corn. I did three sisters over here, so I have the beans, the corn, and I think it's maybe this is where the watermelon is. Something that's growing on the ground, some kind of a fruit. I can't say for sure. Some kind of a melon. Okay, and then underneath this orange tree, because this is an orange tree, is fava beans and potatoes and cilantro. I threw when my cilantro went to seed, I just came over here and sprinkled it under here because it's really shaded, really cool. And then my potatoes are here as well. And I've had like either a skunk or a squirrel come in the other day, and I seen like the potato out, and I was like, if you're gonna harvest the potato, take the potato with you. But anyway, okay, so there's that. Okay, so now we're gonna come back this way. Still more potatoes. Okay, so we got some peppers here. This is a chame, which is a Korean melon. Another tomato. That's a chicory that went to seed, but that blue flower really attracts bees. So I'll leave that there. This little tiny patch, I just put lima beans in there. I only see a few up, so I'll go and put more in there. I got a zucchini there. I believe that is a purple Brussels sprout right there. Those three. There's some collards. Right here is a tomato that doesn't look so good. It could be a part of this whole ginger issue. Another cucumber there. Behind there is broccoli. I do have a drip line. I also practice the back to Eden method. So I live in Sacramento, California. We haven't had any rain for like 3 months. So I will put the soaker hose on over here. And then over there, I have to keep it watered because of those volunteer squash. I got this little plant right here my cousin gave me. It's so adorable. So yeah, there goes my little tour. Here is the raspberry I mentioned. It's a snow white raspberry. I don't see a raspberry on here, so she'll probably get chopped down and maybe come back, relive itself next year. I'm not sure, but this ginger is freaking crazy. I'm gonna ask my brother if he can come and help me and just like A-line it, just chop it off just like that and just see what happens. It went to flower so viciously, I don't even know what to think. And it's been there for about 4 years. Oh, this right here is a tree collard. I don't know if you can see it all tangled up there and tied Jimmy rig to the orange tree, but yeah, it is huge. And the winter is the only time I really like to eat them, but yeah, they're really good. So okay, I think that's the end of my garden tour. Thank you guys. And then there's another pollinator, this tree right here. Oh my god, I don't think the bees aren't here anymore, but you could just hear the buzz when they're here. It's so beautiful, this huge thing. So I have this as a pollinator, and then the trumpet over there, that's a pollinator. Look how huge that is. It takes up the whole fence. But I am thankful. Alrighty, so there's my garden tour. Thanks for hanging with me. It's been 33 minutes, and if you stayed, that's nice, and if you didn't, I don't blame you. Okay, happy gardening, everybody.